Joshua Banks, driver of the number 35 Matco Tool Supra.
Comes back, he's gonna send it to the inside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. They're gonna Joshua Banks is gonna win it. Unbelievable.
And also co-owner of J Distributors, for the sponsor of Saturday Night Racing. So I just want to thank every single one of you for tuning into tonight's race. I hope you will put on a good show for you guys. I hope that you will enjoy it. So if you do, make sure you drop a thumbs up to V-Speed and subscribe to them, because they, as y'all know, if you haven't already, they put on some great broadcasts. So I'll make this short and sweet. The main reason for sponsoring Saturday Night Racing League is because I've been with these guys for a long time. I've raced with a lot of them. I've been through some rough times, some good times, and arguments and everything like that. But still, grand scheme of things, been through a lot of these guys, and I really do like where this league's going. I want to support it. They've given a lot to the league already, and I think, you know, I'm capable to support back. So that's what we're doing, and we want to keep this league free, you know, for people to join, to have a good time, come in and race and just have fun, you know, and that's what we're all about. So that's the main reason, and that's all I really have to say about it. So I hope you do enjoy the race, enjoy the season coming up. We are hopefully going to put on a great season for you guys. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Banksy the iRacer. Link will be in the description. Check out, and you can see my point of view, see what's happening on my end. If you want to watch it, it's completely fine. If not, no big deal. So come on over, hang out after the broadcast of this race, and hopefully we'll see you over there. If not, enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on track.
Lap traffic out of the way. It's between these two. They're even for the white flag lap.
This race still very undecided.
Bradley had the lift. Big love for McWard. This is going to be his chance.
They're running out of time, and they know it. Horsepower at their feet.
That was a huge run for Bradley. He got back the advantage, but here comes a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash. Here comes Ray Massey. Ray Massey's going to win it.
Back at it for week number 3. Well, the center of racing, the capital, if you will, Charlotte Motor Speedway will be the venue tonight. And live here on V-Speed for week number 3 of the SNR Challenger Series. Saturday Night Racing League, ready to go. Your host, Bradley Cooper, up in the V-Speed booth with Jeff Wright back up here at V-Speed Sim and VSpeedSim.com. Jeff, we've seen 2 great races. Last week at Iowa, a little caution heavy, but overall a great race. And here we come for week number 3.
Yeah, super excited to get this race underway. We've seen 2 very different racetracks so far this season. Went out to Daytona, season opener. It was Matthew Radford getting the victory. Went to Iowa, and like you said, got a little bit messy with the cautions. It was Austin Belke getting the win there at Iowa. But tonight we go to a 1.5-mile oval here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to be a lot different, and we've got some new faces actually making some starts tonight that might be somebody to look out for.
Of course, this 1.5-mile speedway, it was one of the first racetracks to pay attention to spectator comfort. And it absolutely shows with the grandstands spanning all the way around from the exit of Turn 4 all the way to the entry of Turn 1. Some backstretch seats as well. A lot going on here. Plenty of places to sit. Over 120,000 people can fit into these stands. Points coming up on your screen. Matthew Radford, like you said, he has a victory. Austin Belke works his way up to 7th. But something else that I want to pay attention to, Brian Hennings was 2nd in the points as of last week. Not a good finish for him in Iowa. He drops down to 8th. Max Koss works his way into the top 10. It is very, very tight here from 2nd down to 10th place.
Yeah, really tight field. And I mean, with tonight's race, you know, this is a good opportunity for some of those front runners, you know, like Matthew Radford, like Dakota Floyd, to have a good race and try to, you know, put some distance, you know, between the guys and themselves. So I know Dakota's going to be really fast tonight. Also a new face in here, Morgan Cook, which you're familiar with, Bradley. And I actually had a chance to race with him last night in the Friday night series with VRX. I know Morgan's going to be really, really fast. He just about won that Kansas race. He starts 3rd tonight. I think we're definitely going to have to look out here for Morgan.
Race analysis now on your screen. 80 laps here today with a pit road speed limit of, well, I'm just guessing because iRacing says 30 miles per hour. I know that's not right, so I guessed 40. It could be 45, could be 50. But accuracy, you know, sometimes it's tough to just get on the sim and check things like that. We will have 2 green-white checkered attempts, 3 tire sets available, and 80% fuel on the iRacing fixed setup. We will have a modified setup later here in this evening, and Jeff, I know here for these guys, they're going to be racing on that official thing, but let's get them trackside here now and get that grid up on the screen. Starting on the pole with a 29.851, it's Dakota Floyd in the number 57. Lucas Lyons is going to start to his outside in the number 48. Morgan Cook making his first appearance in the 54. He'll start in third with Justin Ritchie to his outside. And then row number 3 goes to Brian Chambliss, Jordan Trass in 6th. 7th, Caleb Weekly, Noah Mahalski in 8th. And rounding out your top 10 is Kyle Peacock in the 83 with Brian Hennings in the 74.
In 11th, it's going to be Benjamin Richards alongside Matthew Radford in the 97. Austin Belke starts 13th. Jeremy Reed starts 14th. It's going to be Michael Jones in the 2 truck starting 15th. Brandon Wallace in the number 99 going to be 16th. Joe Spinelli 17th. Stephen Davis 18th. And Jared Epker making his first start here in the Challenger Series of Saturday Night Racing starts 19 alongside Max Cost rounding out your top 20.
21st spot, Matt Dominic with Bryce Shoemaker 22nd. A lot of names from the Cup Series. Mark McFadden, Keith Shoemaker also in there 23rd, 24th. 25th, Rob Denton with Logan Threlkeld, who worked his way up into the points this past week. 27th, Teresa Spiker, Derek Forrest 28th. Bobby Patrica 29th, and Chuck Sweeting will be 30th. 4 cars left here.
Yeah, it looks like I believe Chad Klinger's just going to be doing admin duties, but it looks like Matt Shanowski electing not to qualify. He's going to start 32nd, and Ben Laughter and Michael Muncie are going to round out the field.
And we saw last week there with Muncie, he had a great start to the race. He was up front for a lot of it, but didn't get the finish that he deserved, and it's going to be even tougher here tonight as he starts all the way at the tail end of this field. So I got to ask you, Jeff, who's your pick for tonight?
You know, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, kind of hinting towards it. I saw a lot of speed out of Morgan Cook making his first Challenger Series start tonight. You know, what better way to start out your career here in the SNR Challenger Series than go grab a win? So give me Morgan Cook there in the 54 truck. I think he gets it done tonight.
Well, I'm not going to jinx the connection of the 0-3 this week. Hopefully he can get a finish, and I won't pick him. But I see another driver back there in 7th position that definitely has the potential. I've seen him race at Charlotte before. That's Caleb Weekly in the 13. So I'm going to go with him here tonight. So we've got Morgan Cook, Caleb Weekly as our projected favorites, but plenty of talent out here on the racetrack. Of course, don't check out on Michael Muncie or Chuck Sweeting, any of these guys deep in the field. But for race number 3, the 1.5-mile oval in Charlotte, North Carolina, it's actually in Concord, is set to thunder around here for 80 laps as we get set to go green for the first time tonight. Pace truck out of the way. Green flag up in the air. We're live and racing in North Carolina. Lucas Lyons on the outside here on the attack for the position out of turn 4. And across that quad oval, looks like he's going to lead the first one.
Yeah, you know, Lucas Lyons dominated Iowa Speedway last week, but just the strategy didn't work out. You know, we had some cautions kind of fall at some awkward times. The pit strategy got a little bit split, kind of sent Lucas back a few rows and just never really had enough time to rebound that race. And it was Austin Belke taking the win last week at Iowa. But so far, Lucas Lyons wasting no time, already leading here at Charlotte.
And he has a 2x2 all the way back to about the 6th position. There's Noah Mahalski already working up from 8th spot in his qualifying. He's in 4th now on the move. Biggest mover up here in the top 10.
Yeah, Noah, I know he really likes this racetrack. He's performed really well in the Cup Series at this racetrack as well. So not surprised to see Noah up here. I definitely think he's going to be a contender. It's going to be really interesting, though, to see. You see Noah using the high line here. Although that can work, a lot of times using that upper lane, you can use more tire. But, I think what Noah's doing right now, he's trying to go get that lead, try to get that clean air, and then maybe he can save and back off a little bit. But I know one thing for sure, making a pass on that 48 truck and Lucas Lyon's not going to be easy.
Running the high line again to keep clean air on the nose. Up here towards the front. Big run out of turn 2. He's going to peek to the inside in 3. Looks like Noah Michalski almost clear. He will take over the point. New leader.
Yeah, how about that? Noah Michalski wasting no time. Going to be your race leader here. Now, you got to kind of play that game a little bit of trying to back off and save a little bit, but also not giving the guy behind you an opportunity to set you up and make another pass, because as these laps tick off, we're already on lap 5, we get to lap 10, lap 15, those tires are really going to start to wear, and that's when the clean air is going to matter the most. So see if Noah can keep this track position.
There's Morgan Cook peeking to the inside, and I just want to make the point that Michalski passed 2 trucks a lap to get up here, starting back in 8th, now up to the front. I mean, he's on the move. Did he use his stuff up, Jeff? That's what we have to consider now is 5 laps left in the fuel run. Is he going to get passed by all the trucks he got around?
He definitely used more tire than those trucks when using the outside and going harder. But, I kind of, approach this race the same way. I want to grab the lead early if I can, I'm willing to drive hard for a few laps to make that happen. But the thing is, how much tire did you really use making those passes? And I know Noah, he's a good driver and obviously pretty smart. So I think now that he's got the lead, he's going to back off a little bit.
Positions being shuffled around back here with Matt Dominic, the 60 of Stefan Davis. He's peeked to the inside several times. We're almost single file. Everybody kind of choosing a different line, but no real side-by-side battles here early in this race. Kind of the exact opposite of what we saw at Iowa. Guys were shuffling all over the racetrack. There was almost 3 wide for a couple instances. Not the case here tonight at Charlotte.
Another truck that I'm looking at here is on the move as it's going to be Joe Spinelli. He's already up from 17th to 8th. It looks like we got a caution on the speedway here. Have to see what happened here. Looks like, who is that?
That is Rob Denton in the 93, and it looks like that truck is completely done for the day. He can't even get it refired here. He might have to tow to pit road.
Yeah, tough break there for him. That does look like it's going to be pretty significant damage. Not sure if there's any contact involved here or if he ended up getting loose, but looks like these guys are going hard for it. Looks like maybe Mark McFadden maybe tapped the apron, float him up just a hair, got into Muncie, and just kind of stacked them all up there. So looks like that is going to be race ending there for Robert. Mark, I don't know. I mean, truck doesn't look too bad here. I'm sure he's going to have some damage, but definitely unfortunate in the early goings here at Charlotte.
So did the 5 of McFadden get loose here? Did he have help? We're going to watch it from the blimp camera as they go into 3 and 4. He's down on the bottom. He's going to tag the apron. Yes, he does get into the 19 of Muncie and the 93 nowhere to go. The 2 truck also involved of Michael Jones. But ultimately, and there was even another wreck after that with Keith Shoemaker and the 20 of Derek Forrest.
Yeah, so 2 separate incidents. Yeah, not really related to each other, but a handful of cars and gonna get tangled up here. Got a bit of a decision to make here. We got just under 8 laps or just over 8 laps.
Oh no!
And starting to see a really big split decision here. Looks like we're gonna have a handful of trucks come down, but I think the majority they're wanting to save that extra tire set. We only get 3 tonight, so tires could definitely come into play here. So now it's going to be Noah and Jordan Trask, your race leaders, starting on the front row here. But it's going to be interesting to see where those tires come out here. I think just by looking at how many trucks stayed out, they might be starting, 15th, 20th on back. So I definitely think it's going to be an advantage. But now you kind of risk going mid-pack. There's going to be a big difference in speed. That's where you can see a lot of cautions and a lot of incidents happen when you got two groups of people on different tire strategies. So we're gonna have to see how this plays out. But yeah, those guys that elect to pit, they only got 2 sets of tires the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's going to be a factor, but there is a good cushion here for Noah Mahalski. He's got all the way back to Brian Hennings in the 15th position, so these tires shouldn't make quite the difference, and some drivers electing just to top off with fuel. I see 6 seconds, 5.5 for Jared Epker, Benjamin Richards. Some drivers came in, topped off with fuel, maybe playing that long game strategy if we go green, but then drivers like Lucas Lyons, Morgan Cook, they took their 4 tires, so that's one set checked out of the box here tonight. And I know that you can go about 40 laps here on fuel. We tested it last night, and we ran it for a 40-lap session, Jeff. We were able to make it the whole way around.
Yeah, you know, from the start of this race, these guys knew that they could one-stop this on fuel. So it's definitely a good situation to be in here for the guys that took tires if this goes green. Now, you know, if we start getting, you know, a lot of cautions here and there, you know, then it becomes a different race. But ideally, those guys that took tires now, they want to see this thing go green to the end. So we'll see if that can happen. And also, it's just going to be, you know, interesting. This field is pretty much split even. So the first car on tires, I want to say we're going to go all the way back to Lucas Lyons, I think in 17th. So that's a lot of cars in front of you. Have to try to get through this field cleanly. But like I mentioned, Bradley, it's not always the case when you got trucks just running so much different speeds with the different tires.
Yeah, this will definitely be a factor back here about the 16th, 17th position with Lucas Lyons. I think right here on this restart, Lyons is going to have to be, you know, cautious and not push the issue because some of these trucks are going to take a while to get up to speed, maybe some tires, some wheel spin. Also, you know, they're not going to be able to drive as deep into the corner. I know 8 laps doesn't sound like much, but that's almost half a second of fall off already in this race.
Yeah, and with as fast of a racetrack that Charlotte is, that's going to be a big tire difference here. So we're going to be seeing the guys that took tires running much faster here. It's just a matter of can they get through that traffic cleanly.
Set to go back green for the second time today. The pace truck will pull down that left-hand turn onto pit road, and we'll go back green on lap number 12. Noah Mahalski took over the point on lap number 8. Hasn't looked back since. He'll be the command car into 1.
A really good jump here by Noah Mahalski to get a couple car lengths here on Jordan Trask. Looks like we got Dakota Floyd following through on the bottom here. Brian Chambliss up there in 4th on the high side. He's going to try to grab a position.
It doesn't look like Floyd got it going, but we got 3 wide back here deep in the field. That's the new tires versus old tires we were talking about. Already to the inside. The 48 wasting no time, gains 3 spots. 3 wide again.
Here off the exit of 4, but they make it work. Lucas, like you said, he's the first car on tires here, so he's really trying to get through this field as quick as he possibly can. You just got to do it in a safe manner, though. You don't want to risk getting a penalty, you know, for accidentally turning a guy. That could really take you out of the championship hunt.
We see Morgan Cook almost following suit, but trying a different line there through 1 and 2 just behind. He's trying to get by on Bryce Shoemaker in the 43. Shoemaker falls back a position. Now we're getting back up here to these guys that were faster on pace at the start of this race. You're starting to work your way through this group. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. There's last week's winner, Austin Belke, in the 24. He's up to 12. Pretty wide in front of him.
New paint scheme for Austin Belke in the 24 looks good. As you know, the guys that did not take tires here, they're just trying to minimize the damage. You know, their best case scenario is, you know, we go another 10, 15 laps and get a caution, and they can put tires on. But it looks like we got an incident behind, and I think that's involving our last week's race winner, Austin Belke's going to be a little bit involved in that.
We're going to stay green, but problems there for the 24. We'll go back on the instant replay and take a look at what happened to him. There's an offset 3 wide in the entry of 3. Morgan Cook's on the outside here. Morgan Cook gets into the back of him.
Looks like Austin was also getting a little bit tight on entry, so I think he was one of those drivers that elected not to take tires. And so just from the trucks around him, I think that he just got a little bit tighter than he expected on entry there.
Checking back in here with the top 5. Dakota Floyd is under fire. Truck off the racetrack back there at Spinelli. What a save.
Yeah, great save to keep it out of the inside. Well, emerges safely back onto the racetrack. Going to lose a couple positions from this. But all in all, he's still got a truck that's intact. Yeah, really loose off the exit of turn 2, drifting down the back straightaway, and able to gather it up. Very impressive save there by Joe Spinelli.
He's going to hold on to it, but falls back to the 14th position. Teresa Spiker going to go by on the outside as we work lap 17. Mahalski, comfortable lead here, but it's dwindling. Lucas Lyons is on the hunt. He's up to 5th.
Yeah, he's really laying some fast lap times down right now, as he's going to go ahead and get past Caleb Weekly here, working on Dakota Floyd, and I think give it another lap or two, I think he's going to easily get past this 79 here of Jordan Trask, and then he's going to be setting his sights back on that race lead. He wants to get back there, but I know Noah's not going to make it easy on him. It's going to be a big fight for clean air.
On board here with the 48 as we go on the nose camera. Door shut there from America's Bloodline in the 57 rather. Used to seeing Dakota Floyd drive the 24. Belkey has that number here in this league, but yeah, now Lucas is kind of he's kind of reaching that threshold where tires might even out a little bit.
Yeah, and you can tell that these guys are not just, letting Lucas on through. They are battling him. I do still think Lucas is eventually going to get these positions. But if you're Noah, looking back in the mirror, this is, the best thing that you can have happen is these other cars behind you battle Lucas, make him use a little bit more tire. That way, when he gets to you, he doesn't have that much of an advantage. But right now, Noah's just running his race, smooth sailing right now. And yeah, so far, led the most laps, trying to get an extra bonus point.
On board with the back end of the 03, that's what 0.7 of a second looks like, but it's dwindled down now below that mark, and probably by the time we come around this point next lap, it'll be under 0.5. It'll be under half a second. Lucas Lyons on the move. Check back deeper in this field. We got some more 3 wide. There's Morgan Cook finally breaking his way into the top 10. Had a little bit more to work through traffic-wise. Wasn't comfortable taking it 3 wide on the outside, and looked like he struggled a little bit to get through as quickly as the 48.
Yeah, definitely wasn't able to get through the field as smooth and as quickly as the 48. But, this could be, I guess a bit of a blessing in disguise, to take a slower approach, not run your stuff off. It's easy when you're that first truck on new tires just to drive really hard and then end up paying for high tire wear in the end. So I think that Morgan might be saving his tires a little bit better, but I think Lucas has got the mindset. He just wants to go grab the lead fast here. He wants that clean air, and a lot of times that's going to be a bigger advantage than sometimes the tires.
Driver cam of the V-Speed's very own Morgan Cook as he chases Matthew Rafford, your points leader after the win at Daytona. Had a solid enough finish at Iowa. He's maintained the points lead, riding in the top 10 here today at Charlotte. And that's a quick pass there for the 54 on the 97. Fresh tires, big advantage, but it looks like it might have evened out a little bit at the moment for Morgan Cook. Not for the 48, though. He's passing for the lead now.
Yep, that didn't take long at all, and, just 8-9 laps of fresher tires, we saw what that can do. It took a little bit actually longer than what I thought these guys would come up through the field, so you definitely can hang on those older tires, for, a period of time. I think we went green just shortly after lap 10. So, it took 12, 13 laps for him to really get back to the lead. But like I said, he did start, kind of mid-pack there. I think he restarted 17th, so that's a lot of cars to pass to get back to the front. But, now that he has got the lead, now he wants this thing to go green. Before they were kind of, the other cars were hoping for a quick yellow. But now, yeah, if you're Lucas Lyons here, you really want this race to go green because you're going to continue pulling here on second place. And it looks like Morgan Cook, who is the next car on tires, I believe, in 7th, he has definitely not made the ground that Lucas has.
And the very next one we were just showing on the screen was Teresa Spiker. She's up to 9th position, but look at this. This was 3 wide just a moment ago. You had Bryce Shoemaker, Kyle Peacock, Ryan Hennings, Justin Ritchie. They're still going at it here just outside the top 10. It is tight. Everybody racing hard. Here's Peacock. You're going to pick another 3 wide into 3.
Yeah, Kyle going bottom 3 wide here into the entrance of turn 3. Looks like he's going to clear 1, and he might end up getting them both here, as now he's going to have a drag race with Logan Threlkeld down the front straightaway. Kyle Peacock looks like he's going to capture that position, moving him up to 11th. He's going to set his sights now on Bryce Shoemaker as they go for the top 10.
Rokel, one of the drivers that stayed out on that last caution, has lost about 5 or 6 spots, but overall he's still gained 14 for today. And this is a perfect opportunity. I know he's getting a little bit tight here. That was the 55 of Richie that just went by on the outside. He had Chuck Sweeting on the inside. Now let's see if we can get that up on the screen. I don't know how well this is showing up, Jeff, so you tell me, but what does that look like?
You know, if I had to guess, looks like some sort of chicken feet here on the driver cam here. So
I believe
Logan's
so.
he's always got some of the craziest socks for us in the driver cam. So I know he's not really where he wants to be right now as far as the tire strategy goes. He was one of those cars that elected to stay out, but he looks like a real race car driver right here. He's got the helmet on and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Devoted to the realism, but also messing with us in the booth a little bit. Actually, got me a little off guard there last week with the camera zoom, so hopefully he's got more tricks up his sleeve here to keep this entertaining on V-Speed. Chuck Sweeting on the move, started deep in this field outside of the top 20. He is now up. Oh, and just as I put the camera on him, we have a yellow.
Yeah, just really bad timing there, Bradley. I know we always talk about the commentator's jinx, but man, that was spot on. Really unfortunate there for Chuck, and I think that was Matthew Radford also involved, trying to go to his outside and just not enough room for both those trucks were going down here. We'll have to see what happens. He's on his outside, obviously carrying a lot of speed here. Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a net code as well, but they may have hit regardless. I just don't think that Radford expected Chuck to have that big of a run off corner exit. And by the time he looked up in the mirror, he was already to his outside. So just look at the speed Chuck was carrying here.
And it's kind of a bobble there. Chuck is trying to miss the outside wall, so maybe has a little bit more wheeling into it than he intended to. And then Radford, I think, was getting tight off the exit, didn't want to wash up in front of Chuck, but it was closing so fast that maybe Radford bounced off this truck. I can't entirely tell. We'll watch it one more time. I can't tell here with the 97 if he bounced off or not.
Yeah, trying to get a better look at it here. I think he was maybe trying to go up to give room to the truck to his inside. And I just don't think he was aware that Chuck was going to be there on corner exit. Chuck was carrying so much speed. I think he must have had to put on a set of tires as he was driving up through the field here, because he just had such a big run. And yeah, I think Matthew Radford was just trying to give the truck to the inside a little bit extra room and just didn't realize Chuck was out there.
48 of Lucas Lyons leads them down pit road. This puts everybody back on a kind of a level playing field. Everyone comes in to get service. So if you burn that first set of tires, you still had 2 left. I think everyone's going to take 4 here. Looks like at least everyone in the top 10 deciding to take that. Lucas Lyons leads him back off pit road. Morgan Cook, Noah Mahalski fought hard for a position there. Mahalski is ultimately going to win that battle, but looks like it's kind of back to normal for most of the top 10. Bryce Shoemaker being the only asterisk there. He's 13 positions gained, but everybody else has started up here that's back into the top 10.
Now the guys that ended up staying out on that first caution, they're in a pretty big advantage here because they got 2 extra sets left, whereas guys that pit, like Lucas Lyons, like Morgan Cook, those guys only got 1 left. And with about 50 laps to go here, I don't know if you can make it to the end here. You might be able to if you save some fuel, but I know that you couldn't really go much more than 45 laps tops. So I feel like we're going to be really close here if you can make it on fuel. The only other thing is if we get a caution in this next half of the race, the guys that got 2 sets of tires, they're definitely going to come down and put that on. The guys that only have 1, they could 2. But then, if we get inside, the 20 laps to go and we start getting some cautions, they're out of tires. They're going to be in trouble here. So everybody who's got 2 sets left here, I like where they're sitting, and I think they got a pretty good chance at this point.
Let's find out. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on V-Speed. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series, live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. More coverage will continue right after this.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Back live at Charlotte Motor Speedway for week number 3 of the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series. The 57 of Dakota Floyd, the 48 of Lucas Lyons, side by side here on the front row as we get set to go back. Racing, 2 cautions, 2 lead changes. Big jump here for the 48 as they go into turn 1, electing to start on the outside. And here he'll go into turn 1. Morgan Cook is going to have the advantage because he was on the outside here for this restart. Ryan Chambliss moving up a spot as well.
I'm going to say a very interesting looking restart there. Things got jumbled up. But now it's going to be interesting to see if Morgan Cook, can he make this pass here on the outside? And as he gets loose, I guess I need to stop talking about it, bro. He's going to go into the wall, turning Noah around. Oh, no, that's going to be race ending for Noah, probably for Morgan as well.
Morgan's truck impressively not very damaged, but the 03 of Mahalski is very, very destroyed. I think Cook maybe gets a little bit of right side damage, but that 03 face plants into the quad oval wall, and he's got to come down pit road.
Yeah, you really hate that for Noah. He was so fast tonight, and obviously I think was going to be probably the truck to beat, but obviously getting tangled up here on the front straightaway, the impact, you can see that the nose is pushed in heavily. Morgan just gets a little bit loose here on corner exit, I think. I mean, he gets a little bit of a bump draft, or maybe no, I don't think anybody even touched him. I think he just got loose all by himself, but there are some really big bumps, especially on the high side here in 3 and 4 at Charlotte. Yeah, and he chased it up the racetrack, got into the wall, and yeah, really, he didn't get that much damage, but it's going to be Noah Mahalski, the one getting, the worst out of this, and just hate that for him. Last week at Iowa, ended up losing power at a terrible time, and didn't even really ever have a shot to compete for the race win. And then here at Charlotte, he's running well, having a great race, and then just gets collected in another person's incident. Oh my goodness, Caleb Weekly.
Yeah, right in front of Weekly.
Did he have a view? Yeah, Caleb nearly collected in that. And yeah, Caleb's making up some good ground. I mean, he's up to 4th. So this is going to be, the furthest up Caleb has been tonight. Was a good opportunity here to restart row 2 of the outside lane. And Caleb, he knows how to get around Charlotte Motor Speedway. We went here one time in season 1 of the SNR Cup Series, and Caleb got himself a top 10, finished 9th that night. So Caleb definitely sure had Charlotte circled on his calendar here. He's really good at this racetrack.
Morgan Cook electing to back out of the session. I know he would have had an EOL penalty probably for getting loose, but completely backs out of the race here.
Yeah, and he may have had more damage than what it looked like, because he did kind of overcorrect and hit the wall pretty hard. So even though the damage didn't look, too severe, at least, from our vantage point, it's possible that he had something pushed in, or, maybe he was even down some power and maybe just electing to park it for the night.
He's been on pit road here for about 14, or actually a minute 47. We'll have to wait and see, as he towed to the pits, or came into the pits and got out of the car. So maybe just trying to get some of that repaired. Maybe he'll be back out here. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, this is week 3, so for Morgan, it's kind of, he's outside looking in on the points. He has a long way to go if he's even able to participate in every single event. This is one of those races that there are guys in here that are fully trying to participate full schedule, and so Noah Mahalski, he's had 2 bad weeks in a row now because of this situation, and I know Morgan probably feels bad for that as well. So I hope that's not the influencer. Accidents do happen.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us, especially with this new update in iRacing. I mean, I could even tell it driving the Xfinity car at Kansas last night in the VRX series. I mean, the bumps really upset the cars now more than they used to. So I feel like they're just a little bit more exaggerated. All these tracks, they've had these bumps for a long time, but it felt like you could just navigate them better. It seems like the trucks or the cars, they really seem to bottom out more. And, that definitely could have been a part of the reason why he got loose there and kind of overstepped it on exit. Just hate that it collected a few innocent bystanders, and especially, one of them being probably one of the trucks to beat tonight, Mahalski.
If you want to know what Jeff Wright is talking about, take the Generation 4 car to the old Atlanta. Try entering the corner full throttle. You'll know exactly what we're talking about. That car bottoms out hard enough to snap right all at one time. It is, definitely a change here on the iRacing service. You update notes that I was reading in the patch notes. Well, one of them was with the LOD, the loading graphics, where it will kind of pick and choose what needs to be seen as you go around the racetrack. Apparently, they call him the lollipop holder in pit road, would disappear for everyone. So now that has been patched. You'll no longer be left hung on pit road. I have to say that'd probably be a little frustrating, Jeff, to see your pit crew disappear when you're coming into your stall.
Oh yeah, that could definitely ruin your whole race. I mean, if you miss your pit stall at a crucial time, yeah, you're going to the tail end of the field, and if it's tough to pass, then Charlotte's a narrow track like it is. If it happens here, going to the back, we saw it took Lucas, probably 10-15 laps to get back to the front from starting 17th. So yeah, definitely a needed change on the iRacing service.
Lucas Lyons still up front. The one truck that we felt was, during that commercial break that could contest with the 48 is now heavily damaged, 1 lap down, still getting some of that damage repaired. 5 minutes on pit road so far, but we're going to go back green after a 3rd caution here tonight at just about the halfway point. So I think this is an excellent opportunity here on this restart, Jeff. Let's bring a little Get Loud from 29 Graphics here on V-Speed. That was Get Loud presented by 29 Graphics. And while we were getting loud, Caleb Weekly took over the lead. We saw him chasing down Lucas Lyons. Here he is at the point.
Yeah, how about Caleb taking the race lead here just halfway into this race, grabbing that from Lucas Lyons. I know he's probably pushing a little bit there to try and grab the lead here. It's going to be interesting to see if Lucas, if he wants to battle him hard right now and try to get that lead back, or if he thinks he can just sit back and save here. But right now, Caleb at the point.
Ryan Chambliss side by side. He's lost a couple spots here since this restart. He was up, I think, in third spot, but now side by side for the fifth position with Justin Ritchie on the outside. Looks like the high line working a little bit better through 1 and 2. Not so much through 3 and 4. Chambliss a little bit better on the bottom there, but he's going to tuck up into the line and hopefully stop the bleeding.
Yeah, and I think Brian's probably trying to back off a little bit, maybe save a little bit of tire. I think these guys got enough fuel in it with that caution now that they were able to save enough. I don't think they need to have a green flag pit stop anymore if this goes green. So that's a lot of laps. You're going to go nearly 40 laps on this set of tires. As Lucas trying to grab the lead back from Caleb, but Caleb holding strong on the outside. Looks like he's going to have a run off turn 2.
He will have the advantage on the exit of the corner. They're going to drag race down the backstretch. 13 almost gets the nose. There he does through 3 and 4. This is the line earlier that we saw those bumps. And another great run for Caleb Weekly. He'll lead another time by.
Yeah, and if I'm Caleb, I'm fighting as hard as I can here to retain the race lead. I know that tire conservation is going to be a factor here at the end of the race, but I just like having the lead here. There's
48's loose.
Yeah, big save there by Lucas. That could have been worse. Could have been a spin. Definitely looks like he's going to be under pressure. 3 wide as they go off into 3.
Like sharks smelling blood in the water. The 57 of Floyd, the 55 of Ritchie. As soon as they saw that mistake, no one lifted. They went outside and inside of the 48.
Now they're going to finally get back to 2 wide there as Lucas is able to get a hold of the truck here. And now if you're Lucas, you really don't want to lose any more spots here. Justin's got a really good run here down the back off of turn 2. The sun's starting to go down here. We're starting to get sunset here at Charlotte, and that means the track is cooling off. We're starting to get a lot of grip. So it looks like these guys are not holding back. Everybody wants to get out there and lead this race.
Jordan Trask there on the inside. He's been up in the top 5 a couple of times today, but he'll peek to the inside. Looked like Floyd made a little mistake, and he's no longer a factor here for the pass for second. Ritchie on the outside. Looks like he's going to get around on Lucas Lyons. Looking Threlkel back into the top 10. He's looking inside of Kyle Peacock.
And how about Bobby Petrika all the way up to 7th after starting 29th tonight? He's had a drive all the way up through the field. Good run for Bobby.
No doubt. There, Petrika, we talked to in Iowa. He was a little down on himself. I know the situation had changed a little bit for him throughout that race, and several different moments where, you know, Dale was back there smiling about some of the things that happened as we have a 3-way battle for the lead up here.
Yeah, it looks like Caleb's going to get trapped on the bottom, and they're going to roll to his outside here. So easy if a car can get to your outside, kind of pinch you down, hold you there. It's so easy to get tight. So he's going to lose a couple spots here. Now we got Lucas Lyons and Justin Ritchie battling for the top spot.
Side by side again here on lap 48. I have about 30 to go here. Lucas Lyons has maybe went into save mode a little bit here.
Well, I would say, I think that it's safe to say, just by the way these guys are racing, I don't think fuel's a concern. These guys are racing hard for the race lead right now. A couple spots back here, you know, these guys might be trying to save their tires a little bit. You know, we still got a long ways to the end here. And if this race goes green, you know, you're going to see the trucks that have burnt their stuff off. I think we're seeing Brian Chambliss come back into the picture here. I think he was kind of taking it easy a little bit early on in that run. And now he's getting to be just a part of this as he's right behind Caleb Weekly in the 5th position. He's going to be a factor here in a couple laps.
Back here in the 16th, probably from 14th back to 18th position. It's all over the place. Brandon Wallace here was just 3 wide with Benjamin Richards, Stephon Davis. These guys not really saving at all. They're just trying to claw their way back into the top 10.
Yeah, there's just so much traffic all over the racetrack. We're seeing 2 and 3 wide all the way towards the back of the pack. So the competition very fierce tonight. What a run for Teresa Spiker tonight. She found herself in the top 10 earlier. I think I saw her all the way up to about 7th at one time. So great run for Teresa, trying to hang on to a few spots here.
And Matt Dominic on the outside. He'll take the 74, Brian Hennings. They'll pass by on the 70. Epker to the high line. Michael Muncie is the last truck in the top 10. But how about where he started today? Dead last with no qualifying time. This is another one of those moments where the 19 probably feels like he's passed 1,000 trucks tonight.
Yeah, Michael Muncie definitely going to be probably the biggest mover tonight with that qualifying starting spot. I know at Iowa, too, I think he started a little bit deeper in the field and found himself finishing all the way in the top 3 and also competing for the win there towards the end. So passing a lot of cars tonight. But it's starting to get even more interesting here for the race lead. We got 6 trucks here under a blanket here for the race lead.
Yeah, Weekly is rebounded now. Richie trying to hold on to it. We were 3 wide there with Chambliss there briefly, and here we are 3 wide for the lead down the backstretch.
Yeah, what a run for Lucas Lyon to get to the outside there of Justin Ritchie. That's where the advantage is going to be for passing. So you got to be able to protect your outside. As now we see Brian Chambliss. He's peeking to the outside, but I think it's going to be a little too tight here. He's not going to be able to make the move this time, but you can obviously see that Brian Chambliss has done a great job at saving his stuff because he is pressuring these guys. I think if he can get around Ritchie here and Dakota Floyd, I think he can go challenge that 48 for the race lead.
On the backstretch, he's going to peak again, but nowhere to go right now. There he will take it 3 wide. The big run gets into the slipstream. Unfortunately, when you go 3 wide here at Charlotte, you have such a shallow entry that you almost have to check up more than the guys on your outside.
Yeah, this is just such a narrow racetrack. It's definitely the narrowest mile and a half that we go to. So usually that makes for a lot of yellows sometimes in some of these leagues, but these guys are doing such an awesome job tonight, putting on a really good race, and they're definitely laying it all out there tonight. Start to see Jordan Trask kind of start to make his way into the picture here for the race lead as he's just behind Caleb Weekly there in the 79 truck. So this is really starting to heat up. I still think Brian Chambliss, just looking at this battle, I think he's done the best job saving, but now that Jordan Trask has come back into the picture, I think he's also done a good job saving. We saw Caleb Weekly jump out to the race lead there for a few laps. I think he might have pushed his tires just a little bit trying to get around Lucas, and he might be paying for it now. But still a lot of race to go here. Caleb can get those tires cooled down and make another surge to the lead.
Dakota Floyd will take over the point. This might be his first lap led of the whole night, if you can believe that. He's been in the top 3 for 90% of the laps we've ran. First time out of turn 4, he will get the lap led. But for how long? Chambliss now up to second.
Yeah, Chambliss in a really good spot here now, just lurking for the race lead. I know Lucas Lyons sitting there in third, is not ready to quit just yet. I think he's got to try to cool his stuff down a little bit and maybe make another run at it. He was battling Caleb pretty tough there at the start of this run.
Now we see
Caleb, we see Caleb peeking his nose, trying to get in the rearview mirror, maybe playing a little bit of mind games. Caleb's going to have a good run off the corner here, trying to get to the outside. It's going to turn him around. Lucas Lyons overcorrecting. And that is definitely going to bring out a caution. It was only a matter of time. That was some really tight, hard racing there. Everybody just putting it all out there.
And was there a mistake from the 48 before this point, or did the 13 just get into him? Well, that's not for us to judge. You guys out there watching, yeah, I think he makes a mistake.
Yeah, he definitely had a really good run on the top side. And I think his idea was he was going to get to the outside there of Lucas Lyons, but just maybe rolled the corner a little bit better than what he thought he was going to. You could see all the ground that Caleb was making up here on corner exit. Lucas is, kind of middle of the racetrack too. So kind of an awkward spot for Caleb, but definitely just misjudged it a little bit there. And that's going to definitely send Lucas to the back of the pack. He was one of the fastest trucks tonight, and I do believe he has 1 tire set left, but it's probably going to have some significant damage along with the spin. I think he caught the wall pretty good.
I don't think that one does it justice. We'll go one more time on board with the 13. I don't know where that run really went there for the 48. I think he got a little bit tight and moved up in front of Caleb. Caleb probably not prepared to lift, and unfortunately they met right there at the exit of turn 4.
So for a lot of these guys, this is going to be the last tire set that they have tonight. So now it gets really interesting, especially if we go, say, another 10 laps and we have a caution and have another 10-lap shootout. This is going to get really interesting, Bradley, with the different tire strategies. I feel like if I'm one of the guys that has one additional set here, I'm feeling pretty good, but it's very possible we could go green to the end here.
So this is the perfect opportunity to bring a driver up into the broadcast booth. Oh, who are you thinking about? We got all kinds of talent back here.
Well, I'm looking at a race leader. How about we get Dakota Floyd up here? What do you say? Dakota Floyd, it's Jeff Wright, Bradley Cooper up in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I hear you guys.
Well, it's been an eventful race so far tonight. You find yourself leading the race here as we're getting just about 20 laps to go. What's it been like out there tonight? Obviously, seems like there's some chaos going on, but you've been able to keep your truck clean and obviously race leader here right now when it counts.
Yeah, it's been some really, really intense, tight racing, I'll tell you what. I expected the fall off to be a little more aggressive, but trucks are staying close together, so it's just, like you said, just trying to keep it clean, and thankfully we found ourselves in a good spot right now with 20 laps to go.
Looks like you were one of those trucks that was doing a pretty good job with the tire conservation. We saw a couple guys go really, really hard early trying to get the lead, and then they kind of fell back a little bit. Seems like you're hanging on pretty well. Do you feel like you're kind of going with a hard save with the tires, trying to make sure you have something there for the end? And also, do you have one set of tires up on the wall?
I do have one set left because I didn't take any on that first yellow. I know some guys that decided to go down and take some to try to get advantage if we went green, but nope, I maintained one, and I think at this point we're going to push a little harder. There's not enough laps in the race to warrant really a long run kind of pace, so we're going to try to see what we can make work here.
Alrighty, well, best of luck the rest of the way, and maybe we'll be talking to you here up in the V-Speed booth again here after this is all said and done.
I sure hope so. I appreciate it, guys.
That was Dakota Floyd in the 57 here, finds himself a race leader with just a little bit over 20 laps to go here. Bradley, I still think Brian Chambliss sitting there in P2. I think he's going to be a name that we have to watch out for here. I think he's probably done just about the best in terms of saving the tires. Obviously, Dakota's done a great job as well, but I think Brian was extra conservative at the beginning of the runs. But with only 20 laps to go here, I don't know if, conserving and laying back is going to pay off here. I think you almost just got to go for it at this point.
You got to go. Yeah, you got to go. There's no saving at this point. 20 laps, the tire's probably only going to fall off. No matter how hard you push it, tire fall off is probably only going to be at the most a second if you really pushed hard. So everybody in this top 10 is going to go for it. You're going to see a lot of jostling around, and that's if we stay green. Here's the other scenario. You don't want to give up any spots, because if we have another caution or two, those are positions that you might not get back. So you want to do everything you can to stay where you are.
And how about looking here in the 5th position, we find Kyle Peacock. He's going to be starting 3rd row on the inside. I think this is the highest he's been tonight. So he qualified pretty well. He's qualified 9th, finds himself here in 5th. But it's go time now. And one of the drivers, when you need to go out and go for it, just not hold back. Kyle Peacock is somebody to watch out for. So excited to see these guys on this restart here. I know Dakota's going to be going for it. And I know Brian, he's going to waste no time on that high side. He's just going to have to make sure and get a good jump here on the outside.
We had Jonathan Cofield in the chat there briefly. He was shouting at Lucas Lyons to get back to the bottom. Didn't work for him, and he'll be out of tonight's race with the most laps led so far. I believe goes to the 48, but here we go with the 57 of Dakota Floyd. Brian Chambliss, not a good start here on this one. He's got the 79 of Trask to the inside.
Yep, that's going to allow Jordan to the bottom here, but I know Brian's going to be pretty much flat-footing it here off the corner, trying to make sure he doesn't lose any spots. Find Justin Ritchie back there on the top lane there, in the 3rd lane alongside Kyle Peacock, as Caleb Weekley fell a few positions, I think, on the pit sequence there. I think he was up as high as 3rd or 4th on the pit entry there. So he's going to have to get a couple spots back, too.
Logan Threlkeld going to try to the inside. It makes a little mistake there through the quad oval, but still has the momentum. That 12 machine diving to the bottom. Bobby Petrika in the 78 way out high, and then we have a caution again.
Yeah, that didn't take long at all. Not sure what happened there, if it was a single car spin or not. Looks like Spiker was maybe involved. Forrest. I'm not exactly sure what happened. We'll have to see if we can get a replay.
Teresa Spiker gets loose out of the corner. There's Forrest to get into the side of it. Mistake made here on the exit of turn 4. She's running behind the 2 of Michael Jones and just gets a little loose here. Steps out on its own.
Yeah, kind of caught the apron kind of awkwardly on exit there, and then just kind of heading down the track. And yeah, looks like Derek Forrest really had nowhere to go. Both of them going to get collected, and Teresa was having a fantastic race. I think
maybe she was evading the 2 truck. I'll let you be the judge of this, Jeff, but it looks like her movement happens when the 2 wiggles. Watch this.
Yeah, it looks like, oh, you're right. Yeah, it looks like Michael Jones got a little bit loose, ended up saving it, but I think it spooked Teresa just enough that she jumped out of the throttle. Back end kind of came around on her a little bit, and then, yeah, there was just really nowhere to go here for Forrest as we ride on board. So, yeah, it comes back down the track and just gets collected there. So lucky there wasn't more trucks involved there. Definitely could have been more, but I was saying, yeah, Teresa was having a great race tonight. She found herself all the way up to 7th in the early goings of tonight's race. She was one of those drivers that did elect to take a tire set early, like right around lap 10. Passed a lot of cars, but this damage is going to set her back a little bit. Looking at the damage, it doesn't look too terrible, but it's definitely going to sit on pit lane here. Get a couple of repairs, try to get back out there and try to salvage a good finish.
Drone camera, we get a look there at the left rear quarter panel. That's really the only damage, but that could mean some suspension damage there for the 70, and we'll have to be on standby. Guess who is back out on the pit road? Noah Mahalski. He's had 23 minutes of repair. He might be just trying to pick up some spots here. He does have the ability to pass Morgan Cook, who also went one more lap there. There's still a little bit of time left that the 03 could get one position. When it comes to points, Jeff, you know how it is. It could all come down to one spot at the very end of a season.
Yeah, and you got to have that mindset that you got to grab as many points as you possibly can. And even if you wreck out early, you know, you still got to try to get all the repairs that you can. And, you know, later in the race, there's going to be usually more incidents that are going to take some drivers out. And so if you stay with it and try to run all the laps, you know, you got to make sure you get all the points that are out there, because, you know, Noah's going to be one of those guys that can compete for this championship. I mean, he's fast enough everywhere we go. And we do have a drop week here, also on the Challenger Series. So I know he didn't have the night he wanted tonight. Obviously had the issue at Iowa Speedway, losing power at the worst time possible.
Yeah.
So, you know, he is kind of been set behind the 8 ball a little bit here, but also, you know, there's going to be drivers here that are probably going to have off weeks too. So, and like I said, you have that drop week to lean on here. So it's not all over yet for Noah.
Well, it just occurred to me that my microphone is officially letting go, and it might fall off the table here. The rubber band's holding that all together. Well, they've been holding it all together for 3 years. They've finally just broken. So if you hear some audio cut at some point here during the broadcast, I apologize, but just know that it's a hardware issue, and I'm well aware of it. It's just kind of a ticking time bomb. We're hanging on by a thread. What do you say we pull up Caleb Weekly here real quick while we have an opportunity? He's running in the 6th spot. Does he have anything left for him? I'm curious, Jeff.
Yeah, let's pull him up. You want to chat with him, Bradley, or would you like me to?
Yeah, I can get him.
All right, let's see.
We know Caleb really well. We can both talk to him.
There we go. Let's move him up here. Got to dial him up here. Caleb Weekly, Jeff Wright, Bradley Cooper in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy driver. Try this again. Caleb Weekly, got a copy driver.
Yeah, I got a copy.
There he is. Bradley, well, I'll let you take this one away.
Well, Caleb, we've been watching you. You battled for the lead. You had it there for a brief moment. You've been up in this top 5 pretty much since the halfway point. Do you have anything left for those leaders with this less than 20 to go?
Absolutely. I've been able to run the high line really good, but, you know, that really wears your tires out. So we only have 14 more laps left. I don't care about tire wear. We're just going to go for it and hopefully see the checker flag as the leader.
Well, you've had a pretty stellar night here tonight. I know you get around this place. It's one of the first tracks you get on the service. Anybody you want to shout out real quick before we go back green?
Well, you already know I need to shout out Grandma Weekly.
There you go.
And then all my friends who watch sometimes, Jeff and the for all making this league, and of course you for the excellent job you do in the booth.
Appreciate that, Caleb, very much. Go back green here. Good luck, buddy.
Thanks, Bradley.
Caleb Weekly in the number 13. He'll be restarting in the 6th spot. 7th position, 6th position. I know it's kind of jostled around here. Look at throw count there, represent V-Speed. What's in store for us here? Take it away, Jeff.
Well, Caleb said it best. It's go time, Bradley, here. We only got inside 15 laps to go here. These guys aren't saving. The sun has pretty much gone all the way down. This track is cool. It's got a lot of grip here. These drivers are going to absolutely lay it out here these last 15 laps.
Back live in racing into turn 1. Dakota Floyd leads him into that corner. He gets a decent start, but Chambliss is hanging right with him this time. Looks like the 9 truck is right on the back bumper of the 57, a push into turn 3. Trying to oversend the 57 into the corner.
I think if you're Dakota Floyd here, you really got to protect the top. You cannot give up your right rear to anybody on the outside here. I think if that happens, you're going to get stuck on the bottom, and you're going to get passed by, at least 2 trucks of that. So definitely got to keep mindful of that. But these guys are side by side. Caleb Weekly going to the outside, catches the wall a little bit. He's going to be okay, but that's going to open up the door here for Kyle Peacock as he's going to send it in on the bottom here into turn 3.
Weekly said he was running the high line better than anybody else, but that wall snuck up on him. There was a gap there. I saw what he was trying to do, but there wasn't much room for it.
Justin Ritchie still ripping the top here. He's going to have a good run here. See if he can get to the bumper of Brian Chambliss. Maybe a little push on entry, but so far, Dakota Floyd is doing everything he needs to keep this lead, and looks like he's pretty much dedicated to that outside line now. So he knows those trucks behind him. That's probably what they're going to run. Keep that, keep the car behind you from getting the clean air. So we'll see if he continues
truck in
to
the wall.
run
That's a
that
12.
power. Yeah, big hit there for Logan Threlkel.
He yellows out.
Oh man. 56 of Benjamin Richards somehow going to end up on pit lane. Looks like he's going to have some damage, I think, too, on the right side of his truck.
Wow, this is a big checkup back here. I think it starts with the 95 of Matt Dominic. Into the outside wall possibly here.
Yeah, I thought the 76, he got together. Well, I think you might be right. It might have been Matt. We're going down the back straightaway, and yeah, it's kind of was coming down the track there, but it didn't make contact. But I think it's as we get into the corner here where we start to have the problems.
Yeah, looks like Richards came up.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, Richards definitely was getting a little bit tight there, and I believe Matt Dominic was trying to hang on to the right rear of the truck there, trying to keep that position. Yeah, it just starts coming up the truck. You can see he's turning down as hard as he can, trying to keep it off him, but yeah, they're just going to get tangled up there.
There was a little bit of aftermath there, I think, with a couple other trucks. So I have to look deeper back. This is going to put us at less than 10 to go in this restart. We started the first half of this race pretty clean and green. Who was that got into Richards? Somebody else hit this truck. I think that might have been the 20 of Forrest, and if he didn't hit him, he got really close.
Yeah, you can see his nose was pushed in pretty bad. I don't know if that was from a prior incident. He's slowing up here on the front straightaway. I don't know if that was after the incident, but you can already see, like I said, he's got significant damage to the front of the truck. But I think that might have been from earlier.
Okay, nobody was as close as I thought they were. So that'll bring us back to caution. And man, if you're Noah Mahalski, you want one more here. Probably will be able to get back out on the racetrack and get at least one spot out of this. Mahalski has been on pit road now for 31 minutes plus. I know, tough break for him. Mark McFadden, Ben Lafter, Lucas Lyons, Morgan Cook, Chuck Sweeting, Jeremy Reed, Rob Denton, all out of this race. We have 25 trucks left on this racetrack. It's been eventful for the second half of this race. The first 10 laps, we had a caution. We went all the way to almost green flag pit stops and then had another yellow. I'm interested to see here if anybody is willing to gamble. If you had one extra tire set, Jeff, would you come down if you're, 20th on back, maybe come down and grab that last set and try to pass these five more trucks, maybe get a top 10?
Yeah, I just don't think there's enough time, Bradley. So, if we were looking at, that first initial stop, it took those guys a good 10 plus laps to really make up all that track position. So, and we're definitely inside 10 to go here already. We're not going to have many laps to go. I think we're going to have 6 laps to go here when we go back racing. So I don't think so. And I think, I think like we talked to Dakota Floyd a little bit there, I think he had an extra set, and I think a lot of these guys up here do. But when you're this close to the end of the race, I think you just got to keep the track position here. And also the racetrack is a whole lot cooler than it was earlier in the day here. So track's got a lot of grip. I think you got to stay on the track here with the tires you got and just try to go get yourself one.
And so the question remains, though, if you're, Keith Shoemaker, Joe Spinelli, if you had an extra set, you're sitting back in 20th, maybe you could take that extra set. I don't know what the dice roll would be here. Yeah, you lose 5 spots, but you could stand to gain an extra 5 spots. I don't know. I think if you're in this scenario, you might just be a little bit off the pace. I don't know. Some of these guys have struggled here and have damage as well, so tires could be one of those aha moments where you just feel like Superman and get around everyone.
Yeah, I think if we had, 20, 25 laps to go, I think these guys that had an extra set would definitely come down and put them on. But I just don't think there's enough time left here. So, yeah, I think everybody's pretty much made their bed. You got to go try to go get yourself one with what you got. I do know Brian Chambliss, he's really going to want this one, but he hasn't gotten the greatest restarts here starting outside the race leader, and that's really tough to do, especially, in iRacing. I mean, the guys on, Sunday, they make it look easy, having good restarts and staying with them, but it's not as easy as what it looks like to get a really good restart if you're not the control car here. So we'll see if Brian can try to time it a little bit better here, and if he can stay with Dakota and stay on his outside, I think that could be a race-winning move here, but we'll just have to see.
Lloyd, Chambliss, Richie, Jordan, Trass, and Kyle Peacock will be your top 5. Then it goes from Caleb Weekly, Logan Threlkeld, Bobby Petrika, Brian Hennings, and Stefan Davis to the top 10. We're going to have just over 5 laps to go here on this restart. We have 2 green-white checkered attempts, so we can go an additional 6 laps here tonight. So keep that in mind as we set up for what could be the final restart here from Charlotte. A Challenger Series, 3 races into the season. The points have shook up. Well, here they go again. Back to, maybe another possible points leader, as the guy leading the points coming into tonight is in 17th position, Matthew Rafford. Pace truck out of the way. Let's hit the loud pedal and see what they got for the last 5 laps.
It looks like it's going to be a better restart here for Brian Chambliss. He is going to stay even with Dakota Floyd as they go off into turn 1 here. So if he can hold him down here, pinch him a little bit on the inside line, I think Brian Chambliss might come out of here with the race lead, but Dakota's going to fight really hard to keep it.
He does have the preferred line on that high line, but it takes about a lap once they get up to speed. It really is effective. They can get a really good run down the backstretch. Floyd down on the bottom. You saw he was favoring the outside during the earlier run. Now 5 to go when they cross the stripe. Chambliss almost had the lead.
Yeah, basically a tie to the start-finish line there, as Chambliss is going to peek out to a little bit of a lead entering the corner. Dakota Floyd not backing down yet. And now you have these trucks starting to line up on the high side. You can tell where the preferred line is going to be here. This could spell big trouble for Dakota if he doesn't clear Brian Chambliss here. This looks like he's going to lose a couple spots as Justin Ritchie pushing Brian Chambliss off into the corner. And Brian, your new race leader, is going to clear him off turn 4.
Looked like Ritchie got into the 57. Those are teammates there as they come out of turn 4. Got a little door check into Dakota Floyd, and now the 79 of Jordan Trass is going to peek on the outside.
They're going to maybe even draft a little bit down the back straightaway here. And just like I said, Dakota might be getting trapped here on the bottom. And that's such a helpless feeling when you're down there and just cars are just rolling the outside and there's really nothing you can do. But Jordan Trask starting to push really hard as he gets to the back bumper of Justin Ritchie. He's going to go outside looking for a pass.
3 laps to go, and here comes Caleb Weekly. He hasn't had an opportunity since this restart to really pass anyone because these guys in front of him have been side by side. Does he want to try that gutsy call again of 3 wide?
Now Dakota finally falls back in the line after losing a handful of spots, but now battle for the race lead. Justin Ritchie, Brian Chambliss battling for it off of turn 4.
And really tight there off the corner for Jordan Trass. Almost got into the outside wall. Kyle Peacock loses a position now. I think Caleb Weekly was defending that off there for the 5th spot as they go back and forth through 1 and 2.
Justin Ritchie is there. He's not letting Brian Chambliss out of his sights. Brian's going to have to drive pretty much 1.5 perfect laps here to the finish. Justin's close enough. You know, he could try to loosen him up and maybe get Brian Chambliss a little squirrely, but it looks like Brian's going to pull him off the corner here. 1 to go this time.
One last time around Charlotte Motor Speedway, and the 55 of Justin Ritchie makes a slight miscalculation on the exit of turn 4. It looks like Brian Chambliss is going to run away with this race. Breaking the draft, working the lines. He's going to come into 3 and 4 with about a half a second lead. Out of turn 4 for the final time. Nobody has anything for him. The battle is for 5th here. Back in the background, across the line, it's Brian Chambliss with his first win of the season.
Nice run for Brian tonight, and you know, I think he was going to be a factor long run, but you know, he knew this race had kind of transitioned into a short run race, and he adapted accordingly. So Brian Chambliss, awesome to get the race win here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. What a great drive.
Excellent job there for the 9. He started all the way back in 5th and probably outside the top 10, I believe, at one point in this race after he took tires. I don't think he had that extra set that some of these other guys did, but he was able to drive his way through the field, get up here, get up front, challenge for the point. He'll be victorious here tonight.
Now he's going to burn it down here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We knew Brian was going to be a factor, and we could see it, you know, from that first initial run that he had saved his stuff really good. He was going to be tough long run, but never really got the opportunity to really have too much of a long run here. So Brian had to transition and up his game there on the short run, and I knew it came down to that restart, Bradley. If he could stay alongside Dakota Floyd even into turn 1 and maintain that high side, thought he was going to have a really good chance to win, and here he is sitting in victory lane.
Post-race interviews with your top 3, your final results. We're going to take a quick commercial break while we round up all that information for you. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series on V-Speed.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he bumped in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Back here live at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series has concluded its 80 laps. Race number 3 of the season. Final results up on your screen here, with Brian Chambliss being victorious after starting in 5th. A lot of the drivers up here in the top 5 were really close to that. You had Kyle Peacock rounding that out, but it's Justin Ritchie, Jordan Trass, Dakota Floyd, and then Kyle Peacock for the top 5. Caleb Weekly is going to round it out here for 6th spot. Stephon Davis in 7th. Ryan Hennings is going to get a top 10 with Bobby Petrika in 9th, and Michael Muncy all the way from the back of this field starting in the, I believe, 34th position. He'll be 10th.
In 11th, it's going to be Jared Epker, followed by Brandon Wallace in 12th. Logan Threlkeld gets 13th. Austin Belke, last week's winner at Iowa, finishes 14th. Matthew Radford, the Daytona opener winner, 15th. Bryce Shoemaker, 16th. Michael Jones will finish in 17th. Matt Dominic finishes 18th. Joe Spinelli, 19th. And Max Cost, your top 20.
Keith Shoemaker is going to finish in 21st with Teresa Spiker 22nd. Derek Forrest, 23rd position. Mark McFadden, 24th. Benjamin Richards, 25th, with Ben Laughter in 26th. Lucas Lyons, a driver that was really dominant today. Another one right behind him there with Morgan Cook. Noah Mahalski, your pole sitter, I do believe. No, that was actually Lucas Lyons. No, where is our pole sitter tonight? I lost track of that. What happened there? Well, anyway, we have Chuck Sweeting rounding out the top 30, and then Chad Klinger on this list in 33rd. He was the admin here tonight, the race admin, and we have what looks like Jeremy Reed and Rob Denton that actually elected to grid. Matt Shanowski did not make the grid here tonight. That brings us on to pit road for our top 3, and our 3rd place finisher here tonight. Jeff Wright is caught up with Jordan Trass.
And I am standing alongside Jordan Trass here. Jordan, it's Jeff Wright, Bradley Cooper up in the V-Speed booth. Got a copy?
I got a copy. How's it going?
Well, Jordan, it was an eventful race to say the least tonight. You kind of hung around the top 5 pretty much the entire night, kind of was able to stay out of the chaos. But when this race transitioned to kind of just a short run, everybody just going out and trying to get all they can, what more did you need to be able to maybe compete for that top spot?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I did just about all I could on that last lap there. I had a chance for second, but I just couldn't hold that bottom line as good as they had a run off the corner on the top. But yeah, Brian's real good at saving those tires. I just tried to follow him most of the race, and he was in the prime position to win it at the end.
It seemed like the bottom was a place where you could get trapped. We saw Brian Chambliss get a really good restart on Dakota Floyd there, and we kind of saw all you guys move up to the top line and kind of freight train Dakota Floyd in a way. Did it seem like that the bottom was just no man's land, or did that kind of transition when the sun went down, nighttime, the track got cooler? When did you really see that the high side was going to be the place to be able to make these passes?
Well, I really think right away I figured it out. The high sign just felt way faster on the start of the race, but you definitely just kill your right front pushing it up there. The very start of the race, I went from like 6th to 2nd in like 2 or 3 laps doing it, but then tried to conserve down on the bottom after that. And you could definitely see over some of the different runs that we did, some people killed their stuff running up there, and some people were able to come on strong at the end of the longer runs.
Well, it's good to grab a top 3 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, so big congrats on that. Next week we go to Martinsville, the iconic short track. How do you feel about going to Martinsville? Think you're going to have enough speed out there to compete for a win?
To be honest, I really don't think so. I've never run it in iRacing. It's going to be a big challenge. I'm going to have to put in a lot of practice this week, but it'll certainly be fun to try.
Well, Jordan, before we go, is there anybody that we need to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'll probably send a link over to my family and friends and thank them for watching.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Jordan, and we will see you next week at Martinsville.
Sounds good. Thanks for the broadcast.
That was Jordan Trass finishing third place tonight here at Charlotte. And now I believe we got Bradley Cooper standing alongside our second place finisher and Justin Ritchie.
Yes, it's Justin Ritchie down here in pit road. I know that you had got up front a couple times here, but it seemed like once you got to the lead, that dirty air, it was kind of hard to decide which line to run. Justin, how difficult was it to maintain the lead tonight?
I don't really know. Apparently, I led 6 laps. I didn't know that. I don't really remember leading laps, but the track was interesting because it seemed like, early run, you wanted to run low, but on those late run on fresh tires, the high side was the only place you could do anything. So it was an interesting race for sure.
And you had some teammates to your inside, your outside. You kind of ran with Floyd, and then earlier in the race, you had Morgan Cook there. You guys ran around each other for pretty much the entirety of this race. How frustrating was it to, cut guys breaks because they were your friends, but eventually you get to the point where, they're not cutting you a break and you got to go?
No, we keep it pretty clean with us, but I feel bad for Dakota. I did not get a good restart there, starting behind him, and I kind of convinced him to start low. If he would have done what his initial gut reaction was, he would have started high, and this whole thing would be different. I probably wouldn't even be close to second place. So, yeah, it's a little unfortunate for him, but good result nonetheless.
He says clean, but he convinced his teammate to restart out of his comfort zone to gain a position. If Dakota Floyd goes back and watches this, I hope he hears that.
I've already told him. He was cool with it. But, hey, if it worked out, though, it would have been awesome. So, just rolling the dice.
Well, Justin, you get another podium here. We've talked to you previously here on V-Speed. You've been kind of turning it up in other leagues as well. Anybody you'd like to shout out while we have you in the booth?
Shout out to Jeff Wright and the SNR guys for putting this on. It's always fun, clean racing. Shout out to V-Speed for broadcasting. Always awesome to watch these back. And just shout out to all the guys I've been running with and making me better, everything like that. So, heck yeah.
Justin Ritchie, second place here tonight at Charlotte. Look forward to seeing you next week at Martinsville. And that brings us to victory lane finally, as we have Brian Chambliss here. Brian, I tell you what, man, you struggled there early in the race. Looked like it was tough to get track position, but once those lights came on, that truck came to life.
Yeah, early on in the race, I was just kind of saving my stuff and watching guys racing real hard up front. So I kind of wanted to just sit back and figure out who was pushing their stuff a little harder, kind of just trying to figure out how the race was going to go. And then we got caution started piling up, and I realized I was like, well, I don't know how to go fast on the short run, so I better start trying to figure something out. So I started pushing a little harder there, and then there on that last restart, honestly, I kind of just guessed right when he was going to go, because he had control of the restart a couple restarts prior, and he kind of went about the same spot. And I said, well, if I'm going to get to his outside and stay there so I can get the run off the corner, I need to make sure I get a good restart here. And, I guessed right. He went, and right as I was going, and I was able to, still hang on to his outside there coming out of turn 2. That was pretty much all I rode. The high line was so dominant early on in a run that I knew if I could just be there on his outside coming out of 2, that I was going to be in a real good spot to pull this one out, as long as I didn't screw anything up.
Well, and you've started out this season a little rough here. You had some minor inconveniences, but now you come out here in week 3 with a win, kind of established that you are a guy capable of doing so. How does this help going into Martinsville?
Yeah, I mean, it still comes down to you still got to be fast, and I feel like I've been running up towards the front, top 5 most of our previous races, and been in contention, and just something bad happens and I get collected in it. That's part of racing, but it's definitely good to get a win, and we'll see where this carries us on the rest of the year. But I'll never complain with a win.
Well, I know you're a Boilermakers fan, so I know you'll never thank Ohio State and the Buckeyes. Is there anybody else that comes to mind that you'd like to shout out tonight?
I just like to thank our partners here at Saturday Night Racing, J Distributors with Matco Tools and 29 Graphics, V Speed, and all the guys up there putting this on. You guys spent a lot of Saturday nights with us and a lot of long hours, so we appreciate that. And then Walking and Rolling Costumes and Clark Print Shop as well. And then I'd like to thank, as a Boilermaker fan, I'd like to thank Notre Dame for choking on a big one today. So that was good to see. Hopefully we can, continue their streak of losing next week when we take them on at home at Ross 8.
Ryan Chambliss victorious here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I have a feeling we're going to see him in just about a half an hour here when we go racing again. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, Brian Chambliss, really good at Indianapolis, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can carry this momentum after winning here at Charlotte in the Challenger Series, and see if he can't go get himself another one at the old Brickyard. So I know he's capable of it, and I'm sure it'd be great for him to go back-to-back tonight, and that's going to be the goal for him.
Hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast of the Saturday Night Racing League with their Challenger Series. Catch us in just about 30 minutes as we'll go live from the Brickyard. So far, so good for both series as we get week number 3 underway for the Cup. It's another great production here on V Speed. I'd like to thank Jeff Wright for being up here in the booth. Jeff, do you have any final thoughts before we let him go?
I just think we got to get ready, strap in next week for Martinsville in the Challenger Series. I think if we thought this was chaotic and entertaining, I think we just got to wait one more week for the paperclip next week.
Yeah, always entertaining and always right on top of each other, no matter where you are on the racetrack. Very difficult to get away from contact at that place. But for everybody here at V-Speed that put this on, we're going to see you in just a half an hour. But for Adam Baker, who does some of the production here and has filled in for me, Jeff Wright being up here in the booth, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, Christian Hill, the list goes on and on, Eddie Smith, all of our producers and everyone that makes it happen. This is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your weekend, and hopefully we see you in just a moment.